I appreciate it very much. So the text in English does not say that God is tempting us. That's not the way it's rendered. The text asks that God not lead us into temptation, not that he not tempt us.
Right,
Okay?
right.
Now, the word that is translated lead, the Greek word that is translated lead, is the same word that is used to describe the men who carried the paralytic and placed him at the feet of Jesus by lowering him through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
They let him down and put him in front of Jesus.
Yes.
That's the same word. All right, so it has, I mean, it really does have the sense of picking you up over here, carrying you over here, and putting you down. It's a very strong sense of
Physical
lead,
thing,
like
yeah.
physically moving me
All
into
right.
the situation of temptation. So the way I like to approach this is to ask the question, would God ever lead someone into temptation? Well, the gospel says yes. He led the Son of God. He led Christ into temptation. Matthew chapter 4 it says that the Spirit of God led Jesus into the desert so that he could be tempted by the devil. Now, did the Spirit of God intend that Christ sin? Of course not. Of course not. That's absurd. Why then would the Spirit of God lead Christ into the desert to be tempted by the devil? So that he could conquer the devil. So that he could conquer the devil, so he could set for us an example of virtue in resisting temptation, so that he could acquire merit that would be given to us, merit for us, the grace of redemption. And when St. Thomas Aquinas asks the question, why might God lead someone into temptation? He gives three possible answers. One would be to strengthen us in the practice of virtue. The old Solaflex ad used to say, no pain, no gain.
Oh, yeah.
The way you grow in virtue is to strengthen those virtue muscles. So, how am I ever going to develop temperance if people stop sending me these pecan pies they send me, give me the opportunity to say no to them,
Yeah.
So, sometimes you need to be confronted with something that will challenge you and help you to grow in the life of virtue. That's one reason God might actually want us to confront and overcome temptation. Another reason is so that we can acquire merit. Because if you do face temptation and resist it, it's meritorious. And so we're actually contributing, cooperating in our salvation. And the third reason is a little bit more somber, and that is to chastise us for our sins. Because often sin is the punishment of sin. See, sin is nothing other than an irrational act. That's what sin means. Thomas defines sin, but virtue is life according to reason. Sin is the opposite of that. It's irrational act. That means I'm doing something to harm me or harm somebody else.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of like your mother says, don't hit yourself in that hammer. Don't hit yourself in the head with that hammer, Dave. And you're like, I'll show her. Bang. Ow.
Yeah.
The damage inflicted, right, is the punishment for the act.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes God might actually let us reap the fruits of our own actions so we can learn from those.
Okay, very good. Lord